Hi there, it's Sarah Cannon. I'm going to be doing my RDJ number 1 for EDB 2050, and I'm doing it on the second prompt, discuss your new learnings in conjunction with language ideologies and/or ratio-linguistic ideologies. So the first material that I kind of wanted to cover in this conversation is the video with the politicians on stage, and I'm pretty sure it was right before Donald Trump was elected, and it was some kind of debate, and they obviously were talking about whether in order to be successful and achieve anything in America, you have to speak English. And I think his argument was a little bit false, and he's being extremely biased, but his language ideology is that in order to be in America and achieve anything, you have to assimilate. You have to speak English or else you will not succeed. And the other politician, who I think is Marco Rubio, I'm not 100% sure, he brought up the fact that his family growing up spoke Spanish, and he is the descendant of a family that spoke Spanish, and he was still able to achieve these huge things, and that if a student came up to him and was speaking Spanish, he would give him the respect that he deserves and speak Spanish back. I mean, he has that talent, that language talent, to be able to speak all these different languages. Why would he not just speak Spanish back? And it just really took me back to the articles we were reading about how, hundreds of years ago, we were making indigenous Americans assimilate and become an American, Americanized into what we think Americans should be, which is just this white lens into what we think they should be, and look and act and dress like us and practice the same religions. And it just makes me sad that we haven't come very far from that, because we're still doing it in these days. So yeah, that was my first argument, I guess, and they just sounded really uneducated to me, and it didn't sound like they have a very open mind. And like you brought up in class, he would have gotten so many votes, probably so many more votes than he already did, if he had just said, no, you can be successful in America and not speak English. There's so many different languages, different people in America. There's so many different little communities that you could thrive in, and you don't have to speak English. And then the second article that I kind of wanted to talk about was Forgetting My First Language, which I'm pretty sure, Forgetting My First Language, which is by Jenny, the author Jenny, on The New Yorker. And she talked about how she felt this pressure when she was younger to learn how to speak English, not only from her parents who speak Cantonese, but from society and from school, and she wasn't allowed to speak anything but English a lot of the places she went, and she felt really ostracized and isolated. And then basically fast forward in her life, she's lost these ties with her parents that ties her to her culture and all their traditions and any family stories that they might have, and that makes me really sad. And I know for a fact that in my teaching experience, so many of my students are going through the same thing now, and this has been happening for hundreds of years. So I hope we can find a way to move past this. Find a way that students can still learn English, but we don't just leave them behind and push down their native languages, so they can still connect with their families, because that's super important. And we shouldn't be the only people who speak English as their only language who have the privilege of being able to connect with our family. So yeah, if you heard my cat through any of this, they are acting a little wild, but that's it. So yeah, basically my argument is a lot of the times language ideologies and ratio-linguistic ideologies are tied, especially with politicians and stuff, because as I said in class, I'm not sure if you remember, if a white person came up to one of these politicians, kind of like Donald Trump, and they were speaking a different language, say Swedish, I'm not sure he would feel the same way as if a black or brown person came up to him and they were speaking a different language, say Spanish. I think he would have a much more adverse reaction. But that's it. So I hope you enjoyed, and that's it. Bye.